What's going on there, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, I wanted to showcase to you all basically why Battlefield 6 is an absolute masterpiece, and also why a lot of people are praising this game so freaking much. It's not just some half-assed put-together project where the developers don't really care whatsoever and have no passion. No. Literally every last bit of details that you look into when it comes to this game, you could just see so vividly the passion, love, and soul that these developers have just sunken into the overall project. And I'm telling you, it's the exact reason why this game is doing so freaking well. But ladies and gentlemen, of course, before we go and dive on deep, if you guys are interested in more content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the bell. Post twice here, once at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And also, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, go link that channel down in the description of this video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to any of these games, one way that you could tell if the development team is passionate about the project that they're working on, and they're not just, just trying to, again, as I stated in the beginning of this video, half-ass it, just rush through the game because, the publisher says, oh, we need this at this exact date, so, let's just pump it out. The way that you could tell a development team loves what they are doing is when they start to add in little features here and there that they know over half, if not all of the community, will never see. Absolutely will never get to witness what they're actually working on. But they don't care. They love the game. They love the project that they're working on so much that they're going to put in these fine little details that nobody's going to notice just because they want the game to be absolutely perfect. And of course, even if one individual can see what is happening, that'll put the biggest smile on their face. And let me tell you guys something. Battlefield 6 is absolutely packed with things like this. I actually made a video about this a little while ago back in the beta showcasing like how if you explode a paint can, it explodes everywhere and it's paint all over the place, and multiple other things. Blood going on your weapon if you are in engagement. I think you can actually see it on the footage that you guys are watching in this video here. Blood on the weapon when you get into an engagement, or if you get shot, if you get down and get picked back up. There's blood all over your weapon. Just fine little details like that are so crucial. But let me tell you guys, DICE didn't end things with just that. They went above and beyond when it came to the small details. Like, for example, ladies and gentlemen, I actually saw this post a little while ago, but I had to bring it back up just to make this overall video here. But I saw this over on Reddit. It said, this is really unexpected and funny. I think it's a post from FaZe Scope, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comment section, of course. But this is the footage, and as you can see, just a random leaf. Don't know where it came from. Have no clue what's going on here. But just a random leaf flowing throughout, its existence within the game gets stuck right on his scope. So he can't even see through it. And yeah, some might say, oh, well, this is an annoyance. What if I'm sniping and I can't see? Who cares, man? The leaf, blew off in literally seconds. And it doesn't happen at all. These extraordinarily rare moments is what shows the passion from these developers. Again, they know this isn't going to be happening. They know this isn't going to be something that people witness all the time. It's such a small little detail. They didn't even have to do this. They could have just completely ignored it. But here we are, and it's something that can actually happen within the overall game experience. And as I stated, little things like this, people notice, especially when they start blowing up online and people see stuff like this. It's like, wow. Nobody's going to witness this unless it blows up online, and the developers know this, yet and still, they still go through all that development time and all the work just to make sure it's still presented within the overall game. This is another post that I saw by MRAC-TM saying, you can counter sniper shot with your bullet. like what? And I had to see the footage for myself, and as you guys can see, holy cow, this is an absolute epic moment. Now, we could chalk it up to different things. I know people are probably going to say, maybe it's an invisible barrier or something like that, but I would not, push it past the developers that this is a possibility within Battlefield 6. And once again, just another detail, a fine detail that doesn't have to be in the experience. Will not being able to do this destroy Battlefield 6? No. This probably doesn't even happen at all. This is like a 1 in 10,000 chance of actually happening. I guarantee nobody's ever witnessed this. Same thing with the leaf from the previous clip. I guarantee nobody has ever witnessed that happen whatsoever. The chances of these things coming alive within a actual match of Battlefield 6 are non-existent, yet the devs still put in the work to make sure that this stuff actually happens. And it's funny because I guarantee that these devs are still, just sitting back, and they might see it online, and they're probably popping a bottle of the champagne saying, yes, my feature has finally been noticed. That hard work I did to make this actually happen in the game is finally coming alive. It's definitely something to celebrate for. I even had one of the homies come into my stream, Baz, and tell me about the helicopters, how, again, the propellers are kind of bent when, you're not actually in it and flying. But when you hop into the chopper and you take off and, things start to happen, the propellers, they extend out and look straight. It's like, these fine little details, things that nobody cares about. Who's going to hop in the helicopter and say, oh, look, the propellers are extending? Like, nobody cares. Someone's going to hop into the chopper and go try to gun some people out. As I stated, that is how you tell who is passionate about their game in this industry and who is not passionate about their game. Because these are things that are irrelevant to almost all of the overall player base here within Battlefield. Yet and still, they do it because they care, and they know this attention to detail it's good for the overall product. And again, you'll see people actually mention it and talk about it as time goes on. Also, another video that my homie Crafty came into the stream and showcased to me, it was actually put together by Muox or something like that. I actually never heard of this individual, but Crafty sent it my way, and I'll leave a link to this overall video down in the description of this video too. It's like 26 minutes long, ladies and gentlemen. It is a very long video, but it just showcases never-ending things that are in Battlefield 6, showcasing attention to detail. When I tell you, it is absolutely absurd, all the stuff that goes on in this game that I just didn't even have a clue about, because again, when you're hopping into Battlefield, you're in the heat of the moment, everything's exploding, everything is just going to hell, and you're telling me that the developers still put this much detail into the game? It's just mind-boggling. For example, depending on the muzzle that you actually have on your weapon, will, depend on your weapon dispersion. You'll actually see it physically come out of the gun differently. When it comes to, trigger discipline, you'll actually have your soldier, if you do not fire your gun, your soldier will move his finger outwards off the trigger. Again, trigger discipline. And when you're ready to engage and you start firing again, your finger stays on the trigger. Again, who is going to notice this? You don't even see it. It's something that you see third person. So if you're walking around and you look at one of your teammates, you can see them with their finger out, obviously practicing trigger discipline. But who would ever pay that much attention? Nobody. Absolutely nobody's paying attention to stuff like that. But it's still in the game. And as I stated, when you're not firing, your finger's out. When you're firing, your finger's in. Like, you can actually see when the safety is on or off on all the weapons when you're looking at a friendly. I think you can actually see it for yourself as well. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to cover all the details. As I stated, I'll leave a link to the video down in the description of this video. And please, I am absolutely begging you to check it out. If you actually care about the attention to detail in Battlefield 6, and that's your type of thing, and you love seeing, what the developers have been putting in to the overall experience, this video is for you. 26 minutes of non-stop, just, again, as I stated, attention to detail. Things that you would never see a lot of other development teams even bother doing, because, again, we're playing a game where you go in and you go, pew, pew, oh, I'm going to take down him, okay, I'm hopping offline now. Over half the players, as I stated, almost all of them are not going to even care about any of this stuff. But it's just so fascinating to see it still introduced. And it's amazing knowing that these developers want to put in the time and the effort into incorporating this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest point that I'm trying to bring home here for you all. A lot of you guys are going to say, okay, JB, stop yapping, get to the point here. Well, here it is. These developers give a crap. And just like I stated in my previous video, where a lot of developers, ex-DICE developers, are coming back to the studio and they actually are wanting to work on Battlefield, something has shifted, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what shifted, but something has shifted where the developers are just so in love and happy with producing this game now, to the point where they're just doing 1,000 different things that are irrelevant for, for the gameplay purposes. It's not going to change going in and going pew pew, but they're doing it because they're passionate about the game. They're in love with the game, and they want to. They probably don't even have to do any of this stuff, but because these developers love what they're doing, they do it anyways, regardless if people see it or not. They do it for the love of the game. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why Battlefield 6 is so successful at this very moment. There are so many factors to the success of this game, but The biggest factor is the love that these developers are pouring into the overall product. I say it time and time and time again. Gamers aren't stupid, and I think a lot of publishers are starting to believe this, and that's why a lot of games are starting to dwindle away, because they think that people are just going to keep coughing up cash and coughing up cash and coughing up cash for absolutely no reason. But the main reason a lot of these massive franchises got to the point where they are is because of the passion the developers, the core developers back in the day, had for those projects. I always say that these developers treated it like it was their baby, like it's their newborn. They love it. They love it to death, and they'll do anything to make sure the game thrives, even if it means staying overtime to do a feature that is irrelevant to the actual gameplay loop and people coming back, but they just want to do it because they love what they're doing. People feel that. People sense that in games. And I'm telling you, something's going to have to shift, and these developers are going to have to really start putting in effort, because gamers are starting to wake up again. I feel like we went through a dark period where, again, people were just accepting any slop. But that time is slowly coming to a close, and I could not be happier. And as I stated, there's a reason why Battlefield 6 is doing the numbers that it's doing, and a reason why I personally have just been so stupidly obsessed. Every time I log back into the experience, just like I showcased to you guys, there's always something new happening that I didn't even know was in the overall game. But, ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget subscribing to that bell. I post twice here, once at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And also, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, go link that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all next one. Peace out.